Hi everyone, today I'll be giving a rundown of the art of calligraphy in China. Part 1. The meaning of calligraphy. The meaning of calligraphy is beautiful writing, quite literally. Calligraphy is an art form appreciated in many cultures around the world such as Japan, South Korea, and even Saudi Arabia. But the stature of calligraphy is most impactful in China as it is the supreme art form in China. It is held to a higher esteem than both painting and sculpting. It's also ranked closely with poetry as a means to express oneself and cultivation. The writing itself is as important as what was written in the parchment, which typically uses yuan paper. Here is an example, which is the poem written in a boat on the Wu River by Mi Fu. Part 2. The history. The earliest surviving example of Chinese writing is on oracle bones, such as animal bones and turtle shells, and on bronze vessels. The oldest ones date back to Shang dynasty. The Shang kings used this bone in divination rituals. This is argued by many scholars that as these were used in such esteemed rituals is what led to high status of those who could read and write. These early inscriptions were made on the surface of bone or bronze mold with a sharp, pointed instrument. As a result of this process, the characters are also known as graphs, generally lack the linear variations and other attributes considered through calligraphy. These qualities begin appearing very clearly around the Han Dynasty when Chinese artisans began perfecting the production of brush, ink and paper, as well as inkstone. Here is an example of an oracle bone. Part 3. Calligraphy styles. There are 5 main traditional styles of Chinese calligraphy. They are known as seal script, Zuanshu, clerical script, Li Shu, cursive script, Chao Shu, semi-cursive script, Jing Shu, and standard script, Kai Shu. Seal script, otherwise known as Juanshu, is a form of writing that appeared during the Qin dynasty and represents an evolution from oracle bone script. It uses seals inscribed on jade or ritual bronze vessels. Similarly to bone inscription, this form of writing has strokes that are thin and sharp with the width at the ends that do not vary as it is inscribed on hard materials. This form of writing is divided into two versions known as Dajuan or Great Seal, which is derived from archaic characters of oracle script, and Jiaozuan or Small Seal, which simplifies the characters by removing pictographic elements. It later re-emerged as a form of artistic expression and is considered one of the main styles of calligraphy. Today, it is practiced with brush and is characterized by its solid characters, larger in height than in width, and devoid of emotion. The symmetry in both the execution of the strokes and the arrangements, which is achieved by keeping the brush centered without falling sideways. Here is an example of seal script. The Han Dynasty Dictionary Analysis of Seal Script. Clerical script, or Li Shu, began appearing at the end of the first millennium BC, where use of ink spread. This favored the appearance of a new style of writing, practiced with the brush on bamboo or wooden strips, which is called jiandu, sewn between them in the form of rolls. In use throughout the entire Han Dynasty, it was mainly used by government personnel to draft official documents. It was during this time that calligraphy began to be regarded as an art and not only as a mere form of communication. The flexibility of the new tools used, brushes made of animal hair, made it possible to modulate between the strokes at will. So these began to vary in width. The techniques of Ti and An were developed consisting respectively of lifting and pressing the brush to modify the thickness of line. This style of writing follows strict rules. Its most characteristic stroke is the so-called silkworm head and goose tail, which consists of a horizontal line that begins on the left with a rounded shape and ends on the right with the tip facing up. However, with few exceptions, only one of the horizontal lines in each word will take this form. Following the rule, two goose tails do not fly together. Another feature of Li Shu is the justification of all characters on the top line. The name Li Shu or servant script is due to the fact of the invention being attributed to a prison officer. Here are remains of an old wooden strip roll which was used with the Li Shu writing style. Cursive script or Chiao Shu. This style originated at the end of the Han Dynasty and continued to be developed until the middle of the Tang Dynasty. As a result of aesthetic potential of writing ink on paper, the main feature of this style is the merging of different strokes, which other styles have executed separately, into a single and continuous movement of the brush. The characters take on a rounded, angular shape and resembles grass shaked by the wind, leading to this style being referred to as the grass script in China. In addition to the merging strokes, the different characters are linked together and written without lifting the brush from the paper. Its writing is quick, but its reading is difficult to the person unfamiliar with the former. It allows more freedom in the production of writing characters, proportions and thickness of lines, although there are still some rules for its production. Here's an example of the cursive script. Semi-cursive or Xingzhu. This style of calligraphy appeared after the Han Dynasty, but reached its pinnacle of development before cursive script did. Its characteristics are being smoother and faster than standard script, but less than cursive script. This style became the most popular and widely used style and is still the most commonly used style today. Here's an example of semi-cursive writing. Standard script or kaishu. This style was developed in parallel with the last two styles described. As a result of combining the separate strokes of the clerical style with the more fluid and asymmetrical cursive style, it is therefore characterized by containing the largest number of strokes executed separately, slowly, and carefully, following stricter rules regarding their width and proportions. It is the first style taught to children and is the basis for almost all modern printed materials, as it is the clearest and easiest to read form of calligraphy. Here is an example of the standard script. And here are the 5 styles side by side from left to right: seal, clerical, standard, semi-cursive, and cursive script. Part 4. The significance. The significance of calligraphy in China. Chinese calligraphy since the beginning has been something more than just a tool for communication, as it is a form of writing that incorporates elements of artistry, which is still practiced and valued to this day, even though it is no longer the main form of writing in this era of ballpoint pens and digital writing through computers and smartphones. It has in fact become a preserve of professionalism, a preserve of professional artisans as well as amateur enthusiasts, whether they are recording information or simply creating beautiful forms. The art may appear on any writing surface, even on rocky wall cliffs, though most commonly used on letters, scrolls, work of literature, and fan coverings. Today, in addition to master apprentice instructions, calligraphy is also taught in schools. It is also used in many ceremonies, from national celebrations to rituals to influencing modern art, architecture, and design. Calligraphy offers an important channel to appreciate traditional culture and arts education. It is also a source of pride and pleasure for the Chinese people and embodies important aspects of the country's intellectual and artistic heritage. Thank you for watching. This show was written, edited, and voiced by Muhammad Iskandar, student ID, 2023822742.